Why don't you kick us off then, Ellie, by giving us a little bit of an introduction to yourself, what you do, where you come from, all that lovely stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Ellie. I am from Manchester. I moved down to Bristol in the middle of the pandemic as a slight quarter-life crisis last year and joined IO in August. I've got one year or so recruitment experience beforehand, and been with IO ever since.
So, been with IO, PRG for just over a year now. Why don't you give us a little bit of insight into the journey so far? You mentioned the roller coaster this week, but why don't you give us some of the highlights and what you've experienced so far?
Yeah, sure. No, it's been quick, to be fair. I looked back, actually, it was my year anniversary in August, and I couldn't believe quite how quickly it's gone. It's gone really well as well. Been part of a massive period of growth for the company, which has been exciting for me to witness, but also to be a part of it. So yeah, it's gone really, really well. In fairness, I can't really complain or lie.
You mentioned as well that you joined us having prior experience in recruitment before. Why don't you give us a little bit of insight into that?
Yeah, sure. So I actually used to do a really different market. IO, I now do tech, but previously I recruited for essentially salespeople within telecoms. So the kind of people who are selling the phone systems, internet systems that we use day to day. So really, really different in terms of the kind of person, as you can imagine. So a salesperson as opposed to a techie person, but also in terms of their skill sets and their knowledge as well. So there's a fair bit of kind of an adjustment period for myself in that switch.
Yeah, well, I can imagine, because speaking to some experienced recruiters, sometimes they can be a little bit reluctant to change into a new market.
Yeah.
How did you find that transition yourself?
Interesting, kind of like diving into the deep end of the pool, and I actually can't swim myself, so probably a bit of a dodgy choice, but no, it's massive learning curve. I think you just have to turn yourself into a bit of a sponge, ask all the right questions, Google all the right things, which there was a fair bit of that, sort of what is .NET, what is C#, but mostly doing that on the slide and also relying on those around you. So, I mean, the team at IO is not only quite big, but it's also incredibly talented and knowledgeable. So, yeah, just kind of, I guess, borrowing other people's knowledge for the most part.
Yeah, because I can imagine the support and offer must be there for you, given the size of the IT perm team now anyway.
Yeah.
Why don't you give us a little bit more insight into your market? So we know that you do tech. Give us a little bit more insight into the market and what you guys do at IO.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we cover across IT perm the whole kind of spectrum of tech, whether it's Python, Java, .NET, whatever. But I do .NET, C#, so the Microsoft stack. And then do some other bits and bobs around the outside, like UX and solution architecture. So anything really that Bill Gates has had to do with, and I've got to do with it as well.
Love it. What is it that, just on that point there, so what is it that you're seeing from IO that might be like, I don't know, a little bit different from others? Because I think I saw recently that you posted something about a .NET Meetup. Is that right?
Yeah.
Why don't you give us a little more insight into that?
Yeah, I think IO is one of the strongest points for IO is our meetup. So we run meetups all across the country, whether it's Southwest, London, Thames Valley, and we have the largest .NET meetups, at least, as well as other technologies in the country. So thousands of members on our online groups on meetup.com. But also in terms of the reach we have is pretty incredible, which, although the pandemic put a bit of an end to face-to-face meetups for now, we've been able to do them virtually. And that means we've had speakers from the US. It means we've got an audience all across, I mean, the UK, Europe, even some guys from America as well always tune in. So speakers like Scott Hanselman, who is known as the Beyonce of the .NET world, he's a pretty big deal. Also Scott Hunter, Steve Sanderson, so loads and loads of really important people, men and women as well, from Microsoft and similar techs. But I guess as well, it's important to point out there, although tech is, I mean, it's kind of well known as a male-dominated world, it's really important to know that IO are hugely interested and kind of invested in diversity and inclusion. So we've made sure to include female speakers and have female speaker events, and kind of have a really big push on that as part of what we do as part of our recruitment as well.
Yeah, and it's similar for us as well in terms of internal recruitment with the old CCS initiative at the moment, being more corporately socially responsible as much as we possibly can. Obviously, it's exactly the same with you guys, right, with the STEM and the Women in Tech initiatives that we've been pushing as much as we can over the last few years. And that fits quite nicely. Not only have you had initial success so far in recruitment, you're also an incredibly nice human being, being the fact you're a massive ambassador. Well, you are. I know you've come in, you've become an ambassador for like the charities and our chosen charities that we work with. Give us a little bit more information about that.
Yeah, sure. I joined the charity committee this year, which we established in around May. I think there's about 10 of us on there, and we look to support our 3 chosen charities. So, bit of an overview over them. They are Jessie May, who provide at-home hospice care for terminally ill children. We've got Young Lives versus Cancer, who were previously Click Sergeant, who look after young people with cancer, basically from day one until after death, if that is the eventuality. They provide support all the way through. And we also work with Changes Bristol, who are a mental health charity and pretty much run support groups and counselling. So what we've actually done is set ourselves a pretty punchy target. So we started out with a kind of a committee meeting, and we knew how much we wanted to raise in total, but then we said, you know what, no, let's raise more. So we're looking to do £5,000 each for each of the 3 charities. It's going really well, everything from kind of exercise related stuff. So around the PRG world in, I think it was in a month actually we did it, but we travelled 16,000 kilometres as a company through running, walking, swimming, hit sessions, even to the bake sale we did last week for Halloween, or was that this week? Wow, time flies, hey. Yeah, we kind of are getting people involved in any way we can, including the Halloween fancy dress tomorrow as well. That will be looking to raise funds for charity. And then, myself, I ran the Great North Run last month up in Newcastle, which is a half marathon for Jessie May as well.
It's massively important to us, our dedication to charities. We've got people in the business, Michelle Smith, Tom Zammit, who are actual as well with these chosen charities. So it's nice to see that we're trying to do as much as we possibly can. Reflecting back to you now for a second.
No, we'll call it the Ellie Show moving forward.
No, I've heard Tyler talks. You joined us as a lead consultant.
Yeah.
You secured promotion in what I saw from the outside anyway, in 5 months. I didn't even know that. It's an incredible amount of speed. What sort of support did you have available to you? Was there any support to try and get you to that, or was there any clear progression plan, or you knew what your promotion criteria were?
Yeah, indeed. That's probably been one of the clearest things from day one, and it's something that I think I have lacked in other companies. So PRG really has the edge there, but essentially what you get from day one is the PRG career plan, and it lays out targets for every rung on the ladder. And there's a few rungs on the ladder, as with any recruitment company. But what PRG do is make it really achievable. They make it really clear, and they give you the support to kind of go out and do that. And a lot of the support comes from the management, the senior leadership team, also the people around us, my peers, if you will, the people who were, either my level or the kind of higher up, but took me under their wing in my early days, trying to learn the new software and trying to basically learn everything from the ground up. And I think one of the biggest things, or in fact the biggest thing, is the love share kind of aspect that we call it here at PRG. Yeah. So we've got consultants ranging, as I said, ranging across different parts of the UK, ranging across different technologies. And there's a huge kind of driver and a huge willingness to help each other out by, when we pull a job, if it's not necessarily in our core patch or what it might be, is to pass it on to the relevant consultant. And that is something that I think benefits everybody here at IO and PRG, but also benefits the kind of the wider company. And I can happily say, if it wasn't for that love share, I would not have kind of excelled so quickly. The people around me really pretty much have helped me get to where I am.
Yeah, more of a collaborative environment rather than internal 100%. Competition.
Yeah, recruitment can be a little bit fisticuffs. Outside in the market, that's fine. We know it's a competitive market, but you shouldn't be fighting the people you work with. And I think PRG have done that really, really well. Amazing.
You got your promotion in 5 months. What does the next 12 months look like for Ellie Taylor? What's next for you, mate?
I don't know. Another promotion, ideally. I'm pretty close to the next one. So I'd like to do that before Christmas, all being well, as long as that emotional roller coaster allows me to do it. And then moving on from that, it might be a case of kind of getting a trainee, taking them under my wing, and kind of getting a little Ellie Taylor running around, but not as a child, but an adult. I can help to train and bring into the business and all that sort of thing.
No child employment. That's
no child for me in the next 12 months' time.
Fantastic. Amazing. And have you got any eye on any future incentives that are coming up? I think we're currently doing the ski incentive.
Yeah, I would love to go skiing. I've never been. So I think I'd be an absolute embarrassment on the slopes, but I'm all about the après ski. Somebody told me what that was a couple of years ago, and it sounds like a bit of me kind of having a beer, wearing a big coat and a hat. It sounds like a really nice time.
Yeah, I think I might join you on that one. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time. I know how busy you are at the moment, so thank you for giving me your time and having a chat with us. And of course, anyone who's watched this live, thank you for tuning in. This video will be uploaded in the coming days to LinkedIn anyway for anyone who has missed it. Ellie, thank you very much, and thank you for everyone watching.
My pleasure. Cheers, Ty. Speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.